Okay, guys. Well, good morning. I actually have a really short lesson for you today because there's really not much for me to say. Actually, it's more of an assignment for you. So I want you to take like the 2.5 hours that you owe me, like every weekday. Okay, so today you're at home, and yeah, you owe me some time, but like I'm going to give you that time just to do a pretty straightforward assignment. Okay. And then what I'm going to ask is that tomorrow, if you have any questions, when I see you in class on Friday, that you bring them. We're getting close to the end of the sound unit, and you know what that means. That means there'll soon be review and a test. Okay, so we only really have after this maybe one lesson and then review and then test. Okay, so that would bring our test to early next week. And just a heads up, okay? All right. So, and by the way, I'm partway through marking the test and I've got to enter them into Teacheries, so I'll do that shortly. Okay, so take a look at what you see here on the screen. Pardon me, just let me get rid of this. What you're looking at here, no, it is not your eyeball. Okay, it is not your hand or your leg or your heart or your liver or lungs or anything like that. Yeah, you guessed it. Good guess. It's your ear. Okay. And yes. So inside your ear, there's all kinds of little parts. Okay, it's really amazing little piece of technology, if you want to think of it that way. Yeah, anyway, and if you're wondering where the wax is, well, the wax would be like in here. Okay. You know, some people get plugged up wax in here. It's kind of nasty. Anyway, I think the wax is just designed to keep out like trap particles and stuff like that. And then you can, I guess, get it cleaned out if it gets too much in there. But be careful, don't stick things down that ear canal because, you could damage the eardrum and that is not a good thing. So they say even Q-tips, you're not supposed to put them down your ear there. All right, so here's the deal. I've got this picture here for you. There's one like in your textbook. I'll talk about that in a second. But here's your assignment, okay? I want you to tell me what everything does in this picture, what it's for, okay? It's pretty straightforward, okay, how it works. It's not really that complicated, okay? Yeah, some of the stuff that you see in this picture is not really for hearing, but for example, the skull bone, the purpose of the skull bone is structural protection, okay? So you might not find that one in the textbook, but the bone is there to protect soft tissue. In this case, this is forms a barrier. So, if you get like hit by a snowball or something like that, it's not going to destroy that soft tissue inside your head. So your skull is there to protect you, okay, from and the really sensitive tissue inside there to impacts and stuff like that. So that's what the skull is for. It's also structural support, right? To keep things from sort of collapsing in on themselves. So that's the skull is structure and protection, okay? So that's what this one is. Now, other than that, there are several parts here. There's the outer ear, which consists of the pinna and the auditory canal. Okay, then the tympanic membrane, the malleus, incus, and stapes, which are three little bones that you see here, okay? And then there's an oval window, there's a eustachian tube, that one's really interesting. And here you see the cochlea, which looks like a weird little snail, okay? Attached to the cochlea are semicircular canals. Semicircular canals are not for hearing either. I'll let you look it up though. They're kind of cool what those do. And then finally, there's the auditory nerve. So there's several things there. Part of the inner ear, the semicircular canals, the cochlea, okay, and the auditory nerve. All right, so what I want you to do is if you look at this list of terms, I want you to tell me what everything does. Now, in case you're wondering if you have to use the internet, think again because it's in your textbook. So this is page 250 in your textbook. I know we've been kind of jumping around. This is page 250. Let me zoom in here. All right, so they start actually on page 249, I should say. So here on page 249, you see they start at section 7.5, the human ear. Okay, now what they do is they describe it for you. Okay, now you might need to read the paragraph. Okay, And that's it. Okay, so read the paragraph. Tell me what everything does in the picture. Here they have an alternative picture for you, okay, where they show you the 3 bones, the auditory canal, the pinna, okay, the eustachian tube, and so on. All right, so you see it's all there, okay? You know, they give you some sense of what these things are doing. They break it down a little bit for you, and the basilar membrane, which is inside, okay, the cochlea, if you uncoil it. And so the basilar membrane is where actually the sound waves get converted into a nerve impulse. But anyway, you can read that in the text in here. Okay, and yeah, what I'd like you to do is in your notes as an assignment in OneNote, okay, please take all the terms on this piece of paper and just do the following. Describe the function of each structure in the above diagram, okay? Now it says except the ones noted by the teacher. Like I mentioned, there's only one, the skull bone, okay? The skull bone, yeah, skull bone, you can skip that one, okay? Also skip this one here, the round window. So let's just cross that one out. And we'll cross out the skull bone too, even though the skull bone's pretty straightforward. It's just, you know, structural. Okay, so protection and support. Now, what I've done here is I've zoomed in on the basilar membrane for you here so you can see how it looks like coiled up, sort of in a cross-sectional view. And here you can see the semicircular canals, okay, that are attached on the other side. And that's where all the sort of interesting thing takes place. The little hairs vibrate in response to the sound waves, and then that gets converted, that vibration gets sensed. The hair cells are sensory cells. And so what happens is they sense the movement of the waves inside the basilar membrane, and they convert it to a nerve impulse. And that nerve impulse gets transmitted along the auditory nerve into the brain. And then it's amazing what the brain does to interpret that signal. And in real time, so you can actually hear, okay, sounds and interpret them. All right, so that's your assignment. So that's what I'd like you to do today. Now, of course, please finish off anything else that you haven't done yet. So if you're wondering where we are in the homework, things are a little laggy here today, I'm not sure why. Anyway, wondering where we are in the homework. I have, I'm adding, okay, so we did lesson 10 yesterday, which I switched to number 9. Now, right after this, what I'm doing is, okay, I'm going to cross out number 9 here. We're going to do music later, okay, after we do the ear. So that'll be like starting tomorrow. But, you know, throw in here the ear. There's no textbook homework. It's just finishing, it's just describing each term. That's your homework. Shouldn't take very long. It's a really quick assignment, to be honest with you. I don't care. You can use Google too if you want, but please type it in your own words. So if you read something on Google, don't copy and paste it. Please like read it and then write it in your own words. And that's a way of making sure you understand what you're doing. Okay, so we're throwing the ear in here. Okay, we're throwing the ear in here worksheet. And that's right after the air columns homework. I know it's sort of out of order. I'll have to edit this later, but anyway. Yeah, the ear, it's just a worksheet, and that's your homework for now. And as you can see, we're almost done. We have music, and that's it. And ultrasounds, we'll talk about that too. Okay, so today it's not so much of a lesson, more of an assignment, but you are responsible for this material on our next test. So you need to know if I ask you what the tympanic membrane is, what it does, you should know. If I ask you what the semicircular canal does, you should know. If I ask you where the eustachian tube is and what that does, you should know. Okay, so you should be able to label that diagram, not draw it, label it. Okay, and also answer questions about the structure and how the ear actually works. All right, so that's it for today. And you have the rest of the time here to finish that assignment. Shouldn't take very long, and we'll end it there. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.